Hi, folks. Welcome to the Adobe Analytics Challenge Kickoff for 2023. We're excited for you to be joining with us today. And so for those who are new to the challenge, I wanted to direct you to our rules and FAQ page. You can find this at adobeanalyticschallenge.com. There's a tab that says FAQ, and from there you can find all the official rules and go through everything in great detail. But we will also be covering it today. So it's a great way to reinforce everything you hear today. So we are excited to kick things off this year.
So let's get started in today's agenda. We're going to be setting the stage with a background on the challenge, talk about the Adobe products you'll use and what's at stake here. We're really excited for this year. We think we're all going to have an incredible time. There's a lot of opportunities for you all, and we'll go through that in great detail. And last, we'll go through all the rules and dates you need to know for the competition. Again, this information is located on our site, adobeanalyticschallenge.com. And please feel free to send any questions through the Q&A feature in Blue Jeans. So diving right in, here's the core Adobe Analytics Challenge team. There's dozens and dozens of folks involved in the background that put a lot of time into making this program work. But here are the folks that you should know moving forward. So my name is Sandra Jones. I'll be co-managing with Amber Thornton. Nate Smith will be joining later in the challenge and is actually an alumni of this program. Eric Matisoff and Christos Vousakis, they'll be joining later on the training call, and they'll be providing detail on how to use customer journey analytics and how to navigate the customer's partner data. So they know all things analytics and data science. It'll be really fun for you all to start working and getting a chance to learn from them. So a little background, what is the Adobe Analytics Challenge? It's an incredible, unique case competition. So I know a lot of you students have competed or heard about business case competition before, but this one is unique because we partner with a real customer and that uses customer journey analytics and provide you the opportunity to analyze real world data. So additionally, you get to use our most advanced tools for free with this competition. Eric Matisoff will be walking you through the application and the UI in great detail on our next training call later this month. You'll get trained on how to use these tools and how to get real hands-on experience that actual analysts in data science are using in the field today. So some quick facts. The Adobe Analytics Challenge has been around for a while. It actually started back in 2005. So this program was expanded internationally a few years ago, and it being completely virtual. We saw this opportunity to expand our reach to more students across the world and introduce Adobe applications by leveraging real-world data for truly developmental experience. We've had 8,000 students from last 22 different countries, which will be much larger this year. So make sure to tell your classmates about this, share the website with them. So looking at our list of prior customer partners, we've worked with Disney, Nike, Major League Baseball, T-Mobile, Sony, Hilton, MGM. There's a whole bunch more that we couldn't fit on one slide. Another great aspect of the challenge is that you get a lot of publicity. So the challenge has grown into one of the largest case competitions available to students. This quote is from a few years ago, but now it's beyond the United States, with the challenge being more international across different regions. We get some great publications that pick the story up and run it. So it's going to continue to grow. I think you'll all have some great real opportunities to get your name out and be recognized for your work. So what's in it for you? We're putting up 60 grand, 60,000 US dollars. Not only is this one of the biggest competitions in terms of participation and scope, it's also the largest cash prize competition. You'll be walking away with some serious bankroll at the end of this, and other benefits probably even more valuable to you are the recruiting opportunities. So we've hired over 60 past winners, participants. Again, Nate Smith, a member of our team, was actually one of those individuals. And we've been able to find some great candidates to fill some top tier roles, and that opportunity is definitely here this year. So let's give you a little bit of info and an intro to Adobe. I think you've all heard of products like Photoshop, Illustrator, or other design applications, but probably not a lot of you understand the scope and scale of what Adobe does from a business side and what we can do commercially. I can confidently say that you have interacted with an Adobe product at some point. So if you've seen a movie in the last 5 years, if you've seen anything on TV, anything on screen, even social media, billboard, shopped online, you've been touched by an Adobe technology. So within Adobe, you have 3 core business pillars. The Adobe Creative Cloud, and this is where we have things like Photoshop, Illustrator. They're for design and let individual creators capture ideas, allow them to be able to express themselves in many different mediums. We also have our Adobe Document Cloud business. If you've seen a PDF, the origin of the file type is within our Document Cloud, but it's expanded in so many things that have to do with documents, and we've pioneered how to do this all digitally. And third, and where we're going to be talking more about explicitly today, is the Adobe Experience Cloud. This is our enterprise set of tools to help organizations really get smart about marketing and provide great experiences to their customers, which is in all of us. As consumers, we interact with brands and we want to be recognized and we want to be known and we want to have a great value exchange with that brand. So Adobe's mission here is for the Experience Cloud to provide those tools that enable organizations to do just that. So if you've had an interaction with a media company, and a bank, an auto company, you name it, virtually every industry in the world, Adobe's at the top of the list when it comes to enterprise readiness for providing great value and great experiences. So here you can see the who's who of who is using our technology out in the world, right? So go across all this list, you name it, we work with some of the most valuable brands, top brands across the industries. Why do organizations need to have these kinds of technologies? Because ultimately it's going to provide not just a great experience for customers. So if you think about your own interaction with a brand as a consumer, if that was a great experience, you're going to open your wallet at some point, you're going to buy again or view more content or whatever it might be because you've had something that was a memorable and compelling experience. And by utilizing applications like customer journey analytics, brands can start seeing some of that meaningful ROI when it comes to improving their business. So things like the types of emails and content that's driving engagement and sales, the type of interactions that retain customers or vice versa, the type of experiences that drive customers away or churn, right? So even from me, let's skip to the exciting and reveal, right, of the next step. So I would like to introduce Amber Thornton, Senior Product Marketer on our team, and she'll be taking you through the rest of the presentation for the rules, and then she's going to hand it back over to me. I'll take you through the registration process, and then we'll end it with a few more details about the semifinal, final event, and all that. So on this, Amber, over to you. Let's get started.
In this next portion, I'm going to talk a lot about your challenge and discuss what is customer intelligence. Okay, so let's dive in. Okay, so as Sander mentioned in his last slide, it pays big for brands to focus on customer experience. But how can these brands craft these great experiences? The first thing that is vitally important when thinking through creating a great customer experience is to understand who are your customers. Gathering intelligence on them, gathering data points, and being able to find insights into what motivates them is so important when it comes to creating these great experiences. And that's really what this challenge is all about. In order to do that, you guys are going to be using our latest and greatest technology. Hopefully you guys have heard about customer journey analytics. It is kind of the first of its kind on the market that allows brands to consolidate all of their online, like your marketing channels, your web, your mobile, your product usage, all that great online data, and combine it with offline data. So think of email that, typically is very separate. In person, in store, support calls through the call center, being able to combine these and to create a 360-degree view of the customer to understand all of their different paths toward, and hopefully encourage them to convert. When it comes to using customer journey analytics and all of this data, one thing that's really cool that as we've been working with brands, they've never been able to do before is that they're able to attribute online activities to offline conversion and vice versa. If you think about going in store, interacting and seeing the products and then going and buying online, how can we put these two different activities together and see, oh, this is actually impacting in-store purchases, this is impacting online purchases and vice versa. So being able to establish an accurate picture of the visitor conversion, and it really affects how brands are thinking about what they're investing in. What are the marketing channels that are driving purchases? Where should we put our dollars that will really lead to conversion? And we're really excited for you guys to use this. It's a really fun tool. It's really cool to see. And in our next call that we'll talk about later, you're going to get an in-depth walkthrough of how to use this. The other thing that we are doing for the first time, we actually just launched an additional new product called Adobe Product Analytics, and we're really excited about this. It works in conjunction with Customer Journey Analytics, and they use the same data, the same segments, all the great same things together, but it's a new guided analysis that's designed for product teams to self-serve answers to their questions. So what we've been seeing with a lot of our customers that we're working with product analytics, is that it's a really great place to start. And again, in the training exercise that we'll be doing in a few weeks, we'll show you how you can start your analysis in more of a guided self-serve way, and then be able to open in Customer Journey Analytics, which is our UI, which is called Analysis Workspace, and you can go deeper. So stay tuned. There's a lot more to learn in a few weeks when we do that training, but you will all get access to Customer Journey Analytics and Adobe Product Analytics, our latest and greatest technology. And these are the things that are going to help you to really do a deep dive to understand our customer partners and customers that they are trying to target. And will really help you answer the business questions that we'll talk through on the training call next time. Okay, so we'll leave it at there. We're really excited to announce who our customer partner is going to be, and that is going to come on the training call in a few weeks. So stay tuned for that. You'll get an understanding of who the customer is that we're working with, who that big brand is that we're going to be partnering with, that you'll be diving into their real data. We'll be going through the questions that they're asking of you, and we'll talk through Customer Journey Analytics and Product Analytics and teach you how to use them effectively when putting together your entries. So this next section, we are going to go through the competition details, the rules and timeline. So there's a lot of rules. I'll try and go very quickly through these, but they're very important. I just want to stress that all of the information I'm going to be sharing about the competition and the rules is already posted at adobeanalyticschallenge.com. So please go there if you have any additional follow-up questions. First one is that you're going to put teams together, anywhere from 1 to 3 students. We've had teams with just one person make it all the way to the final. We've had teams with 2, 3, whatever works. We do require that students are full-time. However your school identifies being full-time. Just again, to make sure that things are fair and that you're not competing against people who are part students and and maybe have been in the industry for a long time. So again, just a level playing field. Everyone needs to be full-time. They can be undergraduate or graduate students. All team members must be from the same university. And all students must register individually and sign an NDA, again, at adobeanalyticschallenge.com. All teams need a faculty mentor. And please remember that you have to retain confidentiality of the customer data, as you will be signing an NDA and you will be held to that those requirements. So nothing can be shared outside of your team. If you are a current or former Adobe employee, this includes interns as well. So if you've interned with Adobe in the past, or you're currently interning, you will not be able to participate. Or if you've competed in this program and you have been a winning finalist and have received prize money, you are not allowed to compete again. Rules continued. You may consult published works in the field of analytics, but you may not contact customer employees during the competition. So the customer brand that we are working with, if you know someone that works there, you cannot talk to them about the competition in any way. You may not consult with or solicit help from Adobe employees, contractors, other students or professionals, other competing groups. Essentially, outside of your team and your faculty mentor, you are not allowed to talk about the competition and ask for advice. We also have some individual countries that may require additional conditions to participate. Again, please visit Adobe Analytics Challenge for the full official rules. All submissions and presentations must be delivered in English. Okay, so faculty mentors, let's do a kind of a double click into what this looks like. So each team must have one, and a faculty mentor can mentor more than one team. So we know a lot of you will go back to your faculty mentors, and oftentimes there will be overlap and more teams wanting the same faculty mentor. That is totally fine. So no worries if additional teams within your classes are having the same mentor. They need to be currently employed by your university in order to be eligible, and this includes adjunct professors. Mentors must also go through a registration process and sign the NDA, again, at adobeanalyticschallenge.com. The faculty mentor registration remains open for the entirety of the competition. We close the registration for students, but we allow faculty mentors to register later. Again, we basically do this so students can't be held responsible if their faculty mentor maybe misses the initial deadline. The one thing I will say, though, is that only teams assigned to faculty mentors will be eligible to advance to the semifinal and final rounds. So before you submit your presentations and before the judging happens, make sure your faculty mentor has filled out the NDA and registered at that time. So what do mentors do? They provide encouragement, advice, and feedback. They will be given access to customer journey analytics and all of our great technology, but they will not be allowed to run analysis, find insights, or create content for your slides. Really want to stress this. Whoever is the team members, the 1, 2, or 3 team members, they are the only ones who are actually going to be finding the insights, doing the work, creating the content. Again, we want to make sure this is a level playing field. We don't want to have an army of people putting together slides and running analysis and competing against 3 students. It's just not fair. So if we have seen this in the past and we have disqualified teams for it, so please make sure that your faculty mentor is there to give advice and provide feedback, but they're not there to be your additional team member. So here's a look at the schedule and dates. This is also posted at adobeanalyticschallenge.com. We're here at the kickoff meeting on September 6th, so thank you for joining. After both calls are done, we are going to later in the day provide access to the registration. So the registration will open later today after both calls, and then it will be open for, I think it's 3 weeks, up until the end of day September 26th. So that is the deadline. We do not allow late registration, again, to make sure that everything is fair. The next day, we'll have a live training where you will receive your access to the data after the training sessions happen. So again, later in the day. So don't be emailing us on September 12th asking where your access is to the data. You won't be getting that until end of day, September 27th. And again, that's after you sign the NDA and register, then you will get access to the data. On October 3rd and October 10th, we'll be doing additional office hours at each of these times. Please join with questions. They're really helpful to join those and get a lot of insights on how to do better with your competition. The 10th end of day is when the submissions are due. And we'll talk a little bit more about that in just a second. And then we'll do some screening for the first round judging. We'll announce who goes to the semifinalists. The semifinalists will virtually present on the 24th to the 25th. We'll announce who's the finalists. And November 9th is when we will do the final event. So I just talked for a very long time. I'm going to turn things back over to Sander, and he's going to walk us through how to register.
Thanks, Amber. So let's talk registration. So the deadline is September 26th at 11:59 Pacific. So each team member must register at adobeanalyticschallenge.com. You must agree to the non-disclosure document and upload a copy of your resume in PDF form only. One team member registers as the team leader first, so that's important. And then team leaders need to share the email they use to register and share those with your teammate, right? So that initial email is very important. And then each team member must register using the team leader's email or reference it during that. And we'll walk you through that. Right? So each team must also have a faculty sponsor register, and they, during the registration, will reference that team leader's email also. So just to put a pin on it, the team leader's email is almost used as kind of like a password so that there's not a lot of random people being assigned to different teams, right? So that team leader's email is kind of like the unique value that they use when they're filling out the registration. And so the registration process drives access to the tools, right? So it gives you access to the profile page, which we'll walk through. It gives you access to eventually the customer journey analytics. That's how we'll distribute access to it. So very important. So let's walk through the registration process on the website. Again, you'll navigate to adobeanalyticschallenge.com and click the registration option in the nav bar. This is what the website will look like when the registration goes live, and you'll enter or either select and create a team, join a team, or faculty member. So you'll fill in the required fields, and please try to fill out as many fields as you can. So obviously the required fields, but then as many optional fields as possible. Enter an email you have access to. So this is kind of important too. So in the past, we've had people use emails that they don't really check, or they've created an alias just for this. And so remember, use an email that, make sure it's an email you can get actual email from. So we'll prefer you to use your university email, but if last resort, you need to use your personal email. To create, if a university is not listed, then please select Other, and then add your resume in PDF format. And again, click I agree and the NDA checkbox at the bottom. And once you register, you'll get a confirmation email, which will lead you to a login page. So super simple. One more time, fill in the required fields, fill in the optional fields as much as you can. It really helps us. And then select, you agree to the non-disclosure and the competition rules, add your resume in PDF form. And again, you're gonna want to register your team through this process. So this is the team profile page. So at the top, the TL next to Amber Thornton, this was a test we ran. This means that she's team leader. You can actually click to invite the team members on the team. So you would just email them, specify an email of your team members, super simple. And we'll have a message board underneath. So you'll see here that this is where we will communicate with you. It's a way for us to kind of communicate in real time if there's any urgent messages or updates that we need to give you about either the data set or just a reminder on upcoming deadlines. Always keep an eye on this message center here. And then at the bottom, you'll see that there's an area for video resources. And then, so we will eventually embed video resources for you that deal with recorded trainings or any YouTube videos that pertain to helping you walk you through customer journey analytics and analysis workspace. So if you're going to join a team that's already been created, right? So this is the second step. If your first step is you create a team through the team leader, that team leader specifies their own email. So if you're going to join a team, then you navigate to this screen through the registration page and choose the middle option of join the team. And within there, you can search for the team name. Now try to be as exact as possible, right? But again, you're going to click to join the team that you want to. So the registration form looks very similar. The only difference is that this is where you'll have to have the team leader's email also. So this goes back, you can see on the right-hand side under confirm your email, there's a required box for team leader email, and this is where you'll specify their email address. So that way there's not people joining random teams, but you actually have to have that team leader specific email address in order to get you on the team. So this should be very straightforward. I'm sure you're all very familiar with registration forms online, and this one is really no different. Again, at the bottom of join a team, you'll have to agree to the non-disclosure agreement and then click join a team. So that really concludes the registration process, and I'll hand it back to Amber to finish out the rest of the competition details and timeline. Back over to you, Amber.
Thank you so much, Sander, for walking through the registration. Now let's talk about what is going to happen after you go through the registration process. So we will then have our training call that is going to take place on September 27th. We've got 2 different times there for you. This will be a 2-hour live customer journey analytics and product analytics training session. It'll be delivered by the customer. So we will have the customer partner that we are working with come and be able to answer questions and introduce the challenge, talk about their data, talk about the questions that they want you to answer. And then Adobe experts will kind of train you how to use our tools. It's a really important session. For those who are unable to join, it will be recorded and available for on-demand viewing. After the training session, all registered teams members will receive access to customer journey analytics and the data set. Then we will have office hours that take place on October 3rd and October 10th. Again, 2 different times for different time zones. And this will be an open Q&A session with Adobe experts. So come with your questions. Those are super helpful sessions for you to attend. The actual submission process. So you're going to be putting together your slides in PowerPoint presentation. The quantity is not limited, but make sure that you actually can present it in 10 minutes. So don't go crazy with your slides. Something you can actually talk to and present in a 10-minute period. Include a photo of your team, and it may be really helpful for you to add some notes, 2 to 3 sentences per slide to explain your findings, but please do not include supplemental materials. Only the presentation will be considered. You will then submit your copy of your PowerPoint presentation. Only PowerPoint, no keynotes or other formats are allowed. You will upload it through your portal that Sandra just walked us through. And you will please use a format similar to this, where it's your school name, your team name, as you can see here. Again, you will go to the team profile and you will upload it. And then we will go through the process of selecting the 20 semifinalist teams. And we get hundreds and hundreds of presentations. We have a small army of judges here at Adobe that will narrow it down, and we will announce the 20 semifinalist teams. You will hear back from us one way or the other if you make it or if you do not. Here is the criteria that we use. And you can see the weighted score next to each of them. This is it. You will get a score for each of these 4 areas. This is what you need to focus on, and make sure that you really nail each of these criteria. That is how you're going to make it to the semifinal round. When you do the semifinal round, again, you won't be making changes to your slides, which is why your initial submission, make sure that it's content you can actually present in a 10-minute presentation. You will also do a walkthrough of Analysis Workspace, which is our main UI. You'll learn more about that in the training session, or you can look up. We've got lots of great content online around Analysis Workspace. But you will do that 10-minute presentation with your slides, plus a 3-minute live walkthrough of your analysis in the UI. Each of your team members must present a portion of the content and anticipate questions from the judges. You will have a few minutes, a couple questions after the finalist teams present. So be ready and prepared to kind of answer their questions. Again, this is a very tight window that you will be doing your semifinalist presentations. So be brief, concise, and compelling. After you present, again, virtually to a group of judges, they will go through and narrow it down to our top 6 teams that will advance to the finals. And the final event, we're super excited. We are going to be back in person again. Adobe will cover all your expenses to travel to our headquarters in San Jose, California. We are making an option to join virtually if you're unable to travel. You'll come in on November 8th. We'll do a fun dinner the night before, networking, get to know the other competitors and some Adobe individuals and the panel of judges. And then you will actually give the presentations the morning of November 9th in San Jose. For this, we'll have additional 2 minutes. So you will do 12 minutes using your slides to present, and then a 3-minute live walkthrough of Analysis Workspace. You'll have a little bit more time to answer questions from the judges, 5 minutes total for that. And this judging panel will include representatives from our customer partner that we are announcing on the training call in a few weeks, as well as other industry experts. Again, all of that will take place in San Jose, but we are going to do a live virtual event after all the presentations have happened. We'll have a nice little event where we show some videos, show some highlights of the competition, and then we announce live who won. So the 6 who placed in first through 6th, we'll do that live announcement virtually so that friends and family, colleagues, others can join the call and watch the announcement live. So we're really excited. I think this will be a lot of fun. Okay, some important things to talk about here. So as you're putting together your presentations, be very clear on the goals and KPIs. So you'll be given some business questions in the next call from our customer partner, from this major brand that we are working with. Make sure that you are very clear on those in your presentation. What is the question you are trying to solve? What are the KPIs that you are tracking? We love this phrase. We use this every year. So if you've joined a few of these calls over the years, you won't be surprised to see this. But um, you need steak and sizzle. So putting together your presentation, steak is the meat of the presentation. So you've got to have really good substance, but there definitely is a little bit of sizzle. So what is that spark? What is that fun? What is that vibe? What is it that is going to catch the attention of our judges, that is going to stand out amongst a whole bunch of hundreds and hundreds of presentations? So you have to have some steak, but you got to have a little bit of pizzazz, a little bit of sizzle to help your presentation stand out. The other thing is the onion rule. So dig deep. Not only do you talk about what is happening, but go deeper. Why is it happening? So what if it's happening? Continue to pull back these layers and dive into the data to get a really deep answer. That is going to be incredibly important and help you stand out from the other presentations. The other thing is to monetize. Make sure that the recommendations that you are providing to the customer have dollar signs connected to them. I know that's hard and that's challenging, but when you're talking to a big brand, when you're talking to very senior people, you have to explain why they should do something. And the reason they're going to do something is if it impacts the bottom line. At the end of the day, that's the main goal. So make sure you monetize your recommendations. Same thing, very similar to the onion roll, go beyond descriptive reporting. So dive deeper. Don't just say something is happening, explain exactly why it's happening and what is going to be the impact of that happening. And remember, you only have 10 minutes for this first round and semifinal round. You cannot have 60 slides. When we've received these presentations, and every time, without fail, it doesn't work. We've had teams come back saying, well, I have to, this is all important. You have to be very clear, very concise. You can go through for hours, I'm sure, and talk about all the great analysis. But unless you can simplify it and make it easier to digest, it's not going to work at the end of the day. You have to have a very clear 10-minute presentation, and including in those recommendations. The last thing, and this is really for our finalist teams, is that in between the semifinalist and final round, you can make changes, and our judges will provide feedback that they saw for the semifinal round, and make sure that you're listening to those feedback between the rounds. Okay, that was a lot. Again, if you have questions or if you want some more information, please go to adobeanalyticschallenge.com. Everything you need is on that site. A few things I want to make sure we call out before you leave. Just as a heads up, there is no confirmation email after you create your team, but you can log in immediately after registration. So as soon as you create your team, you won't get a confirmation email, but you can go directly to the site and log in. If you are having issues registering, please reach out to this email address right here, aac-registration@adobe.com, and they can help you with the registration. Okay, I will open it up for some questions. I think we're going to do it in the chat pod. Hopefully, a lot of the questions have already been answered, but Sandra and I will continue to respond back and answer some of those questions. So if anyone wants to stay for that. But thank you again for joining us for today's call. We are super excited to see you guys at the training call on the 27th of September. So please join us for that. Again, we'll announce who the customer partner is, who's this brand that you're working with. And we will announce the competition, the questions that you will be answering in your presentations. And we will teach you how to use customer journey analytics and product analytics and all of our latest and greatest technologies. So please join us for that. And thank you again for being here. Thank you again for your interest. We're really excited to kick off officially this year's competition. Okay, thank you so much, guys. Really appreciate it. Bye.